Now then, Vinyl Monkey Part 2, 2026 vinyl tag, 10 more questions. Get off, take this bloody thing off. Here's my question sheet. It's Christmas Eve in the drunk tank. Yeah, here we go. So, thanks David Atkinson again for posing the questions. I'm going to rattle through this 10. This is question 11, so if you haven't watched the fair part here, watch that first. This is question 11 of 20. Show a song that brings a tear to your eye, or are you a heartless bastard? Well, no, I am prone to a tear or two, more so probably in film than in music, which I guess is the case with most people, but and rarely in books, but sometimes. But I am particularly prone, and I would like to be more of a heartless bastard sometimes. There are occasions where being a heartless bastard could be an advantage, but what I thought I'd show is an album where it's actually got 2 songs which bring a tear to my eye. There's that one, which is Kentucky Avenue, a beautiful meditation on friendship. Absolutely beautiful. And also, and appropriately for this time of year, Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis, where he's reading a letter from a friend who starts off all optimistic, but she's that her life's turned around and everything, but it's clear by the end that in fact that's just wishful thinking. It's a really sad song, and beautiful. Tom Waits at his best. One of his greatest of his early albums, I think. Blue Valentine. Yeah, beautiful. Question 12. Show 3 artists that you've tried to love, but you now question why you bothered. There's a few like that, I think, where I've persevered with. Anyway, I picked 3 out. First band, the Welsh band from the sort of early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, Man, rock band, sort of psychedelic, progressive sort of tendencies. And I've got a couple of their albums there. I had in my very first record collection back in the early 70s, I had their live album. Was it called something like the Paget Rooms Penarth or something like that? And I don't know whether it was just because of, that was my first ever collection and there weren't many in it, that I have fond memories of that album, but I lost it way back in the mists of time. And but I did go to see Man twice, Middlesbrough Town Hall and somewhere else, and at the time really enjoyed him, but I think I was probably off my head anyway, and I can't really recall it other than that LP and those gigs bring back memorable or bring back positive memories that don't really chime with me listening to their stuff these days. So I never ever get rid of it, and I bring it out once every few years, as I did this afternoon in advance of this video and played it, and I just cannot get away with it. I don't know what it is about it, it just doesn't, I don't know whether it's because it's, you know, a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of the other, but it just doesn't do it for me. So maybe one day it will come back, but anyway, Man. The next one, Todd Rundgren. My partner is a big Todd Rundgren fan, and there are an inordinate number of Todd Rundgren fans in this little town of Hartlepool, which are put down to some sort of, I don't know, bad batch of drugs at some point in the mid-late 70s or something. But I have never been able to get away with this fella. He's renowned as a producer, but I think the production values and the production sound on his albums and on others that he's produced is thin often. He sort of he managed to produce an horrible 80s sound in the 70s, which I suppose is going some, but never been able to get away with him. I've made numerous attempts. I mean, there's one or two catchy songs, but throwaway stuff for me. Vastly overrated for me, Todd Rundgren. And then the third one, it's another one of my partner's favourites. It's a good job she never watches these videos. She'd be having a pop at me about this. This is the Moody Blues, a band which I never ever took seriously at all. I mean, that awful dirge of a single, what is it, Tights That I Shat In or something, but all sorts were awful, but my partner loved them, so I bought the LPs and give them a go and tried my best, but bloody hell, oh, dreadful, the Moody Blues. Yeah, anyway, there's three. I did give them a go, and of those three, there's only Man, I think, that I keep giving second, third, fourth, fifth chances. The other two I've written off now. Number 13, show an artist whose character disappoints you, or can you separate art from the artist? Well, this is an argument I often find myself venturing into, and I mean, I think who am I to sit in judgment on somebody's character, particularly when it might be based on, you know, what's, I don't know, in news gossip or magazines previously, social media I guess these days. You know, I don't know the people personally. I've never heard their defence of their positions, and in a sense, I'm not interested. I'm in no position to judge anybody, and so I can separate the art from the artist. I mean, there are loads of people. I enjoy Morrissey's songs, and he's a brilliant writer. I thought his autobiography was, half of it at least, was superb. The other half of it was a bit mad, but a brilliant artist, and I'm not going to stop listening to him because he keeps making an ass of himself, apparently, with the rubbish that comes out of his mouth. Clapton, you know, another one. You know, he's been involved in some really good bands and some really good music, and you know, I just draw the line there. So I'm not going to show anybody on that one, David. Let's separate the art from the artist. Okay, question 14. If you had to sell all your LPs, which one would you keep as a keepsake? Well, it's hard to pick, isn't it? But I've picked one anyway, and it's this one. Probably not be surprised to hear this. This is Electric Warrior by T-Rex. It's just one of those perfect albums, and it was one of the first albums I ever got, and it's an album that I've been right into for, how long now? Well, 56, 57 years, something like that, getting on for 60 years. So anyway, brilliant stuff, I'll keep that one. discuss your VC vinyl community highlight of 2025. Well, I wasn't quite sure what you meant by this one, David. Did you mean, what did I think the highlights were of other people's videos? I'm not sure. I mean, I skip around and I probably watch more fishing or photography videos than I do vinyl related videos, but I watch a lot. And I do try and stick a positive comment on now and again, but I'm pretty rubbish at that. But can I remember any of them? Can I remember which ones are the best? I have no idea. I did have a look, or does it mean my highlights, i.e. which I thought was my best video? If you meant that, I don't know, I had a look at what the highest viewing numbers were, which actually the viewing numbers seem to have tailed off dramatically in the last 6 months. But previous to that, they were sort of getting up into 4 figures at least. But I've made a note here of what the top 3 were. If anybody wants to look them up. Well, one was, interestingly, of the top 3, 2 of them were very rare negative videos. One was a review of the Bob Dylan biopic. One was a question I put, is there any point in a new Van Morrison album? Which ended up being a positive, but I put a negative title on it. And it's funny that those 2 with negative titles got many more views than the others. And that says something about social media, human nature, all sorts of things. And then the third of them was, my favourite blues albums. So anyway, they were me, I suppose, numerically, technically, in terms of audience, they were my VC highlights. Okay, question 16. Name your favourite musical biopic if you have one. Well, I slated the Dylan biopic, and I did say at that point, I suppose, to be fair, I don't generally like that type of film. I'm generally very, very disappointed with them, and so it was some surprise that I persuaded myself to go and see the Springsteen biopic, whose title has now escaped me, that came out later this year, which focused on quite a narrow part of Springsteen's career, the period leading up to the production of the Nebraska album. And so my expectations were relatively low. But it is an album which I liked, and so I thought I'll go and see this. But I was blown away with it. I thought it was a superb film. I thought the performances, particularly Jeremy Strong as John Landau, Springsteen's manager, was superb. But I thought the film was actually about, art, the compromises between commercial sort of pressures and artistic integrity, the whole management of an artist and the relationship between management and artists, which I thought was beautifully done. And I just thought, yeah, this is how to do it. And perhaps it was because it was on such a narrow and relatively obscure part of Springsteen's career that I found it enjoyable. But anyway, I highly recommend it. If only I could remember the title of it. Anyway, look it up, yeah. Okay, question 17. Give 3 reasons why jazz matters and show a favourite album. Well, why jazz matters? Oh, David. This depends how you look at the world. Do you look at the world and you say everything matters? Are you one of these people who believe that a butterfly flapping its wings across the other side of the planet, etc., etc.? Are you one of those type of people? And if you are, well, jazz matters because everything matters. All types of music matter. So it renders the question redundant. Or are you one of these people who look at the world and say, well, nothing matters, really. We're so insignificant. Our pathetic little temporary species, we haven't been here very long, we've nearly blown ourselves out already. There are major cosmic forces at play which are the real sort of players and determinants, and under that nothing matters. So that again renders the question redundant. But 3 reasons. Okay, I'll play along, David. I'll play along. 3 reasons why jazz matters. Let me just say 3 words. Eric Alan Dolphy. 3 more words if you want. Out to lunch. So Eric Dolphy's Out to Lunch. If jazz is about improvisation, freedom, rhythm, all of these things, if jazz is about those things, then this album for me epitomises all that is good about what jazz is about. It's a fantastic album. It's, I suppose, I don't know whether you'd call it free jazz or avant-garde. Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, Eric Dolphy sax, flute, bass, clarinet. Bobby Hutcherson shines on this one, on his vibes. He's absolutely superb. Richard Davis on bass. Richard Davis provides the rhythm. The rhythm is sometimes hard to spot and to pick out on this album, but when you find it, it's inevitably being driven by Richard Davis's bass. And then Anthony Williams on drums, who I think was very young when this was produced. Perhaps his cymbal is working along the rhythm with the bass, but the rest of it is all over the place, like the rest of this album. And freedom and innovation just absolutely epitomise this. For many of the songs, you've got 5 people in here who feel like they're playing 5 different tunes all together, but then occasionally you catch the sort of, as I say, that rhythm and that vibe that brings it together. And they're all compositions by Eric Dolphy. It's just an absolute masterpiece. 3 reasons. Eric Alan Dolphy, Out to Lunch. Brilliant stuff. Right, nearly there. Question 18. Oh, you're on death row. You're innocent, but you've been found guilty. You're on death row, and they give you one last request, musical request. What do you ask for? Well, I thought about this and I thought, okay, I'll ask them to play the whole of Yes's Tales of Topographic Oceans, and when all the guards fall asleep, I'll make my escape. But when I mentioned that to my partner, she said, well, maybe you'll get sort of part way through side 1 of Tales from Topographic Oceans and you'll beg them to shoot you now, but either way, I would either get away or get it over with, I suppose. But Yes's Tales from Topographic Oceans. And then, or maybe, actually, more seriously, I'd probably pick one from Electric Warrior. One of my favourites, Life's a Gas. That'll be good. Right, last question. You're arranging a VC meetup. Well, what's that? Meeting up with other people who make daft videos like this? Not likely. But anyway, let's imagine I am in 2026. Excluding those you've already met. Well, I've never met anybody other than through the comments sections, but so that's okay. Invite 3 people from the VC you'd most like to meet. Well, bloody hell. I don't know, really. I'd like to meet people generally. I'd like to meet any of the VC members, but I've picked out a few. Harris Pilton, he always makes me laugh, and I like being made to laugh. He's a very funny man. I'd invite Harris. Although he's got a long way to come up here, or I'd have a long way to go down there. Less Distance, Berwickshire Mike, great record collection, very punky. I love punk music, but I've hardly got any punk records because I never bought any during that period. And they're too expensive now. I'm loath to go back to buying those punk records. And then thirdly, I'd like to invite Vinyl Richie, just in case there's any bother and it kicks off. But no, Richie's great. He's a real, genuine enthusiast. I love watching his videos. So there's 3. But anyway, I'd like to meet anybody from the vinyl community. And I think I missed... God, I missed number 19. I'm going back to number 19. This is pathetic, isn't it? Sell your favourite artist for a new listener, and show one, what does it say? Show one album, essential album, and explain why they should make time for it. Well, I'm going to go with Van Morrison. I'm going to go with Common One, his ethereal, atmospheric album, but Morrison's a true original. He quickly recognised all that is wrong with the music business, and then he went on and forged his own path with his unique blend of jazz, blues, Celtic folk into what was coined Caledonia soul music, which I still think best sums up his sound and his unique style. His body of work comprises around 50 albums over the past 60 years, and there isn't a bad one amongst them. He's not interested in fame, fashion, commercial success, what people think about him. He's perhaps not interested in his audience, or possibly even his bandmates on occasions. He just follows his beautiful vision. So go for it. Yeah, Van Morrison. Listen to it. That's it. Just wish you all a happy Christmas. It is Christmas Eve now. I will see you in the new year, hopefully. Okay, we're going to go out with some rather sad news this week. The death of Chris Rea, who's from just down the road from me, from Middlesbrough. Didn't ever know him personally. I know people who knew him, and obviously knew his family, who run a ice cream and coffee bar businesses over there. But yeah, he sadly died this week, and I think a great artist, and I think a genuine, modest, genuine guy. I've got none of his records. I always find them very pleasant. I enjoy listening when he comes on the radio. I'm not interested enough to buy an LP, but